Order of business is the approval of minutes. Now I understand that we have a written motion here from Trustee Kelger to amend the minutes of the regular board meeting held on December the 14th. So therefore, Trustee Kelger, is there a seconder for Trustee Kelger's written motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, seconded by Trustee Elliott. Now, since this is your motion, Trustee Kelger will have it open for discussion, and you're up first there, since it's your motion.
Okay, and that motion was seconded by Elliott? Oh, yeah, okay. So, this is regarding the December 14th minutes, which, as you may recall, we didn't have them at our last board meeting, and so there's just three corrections, and the first is simply adding my name to the trustees that were in attendance, so that's number one. And in between item 3 and 4, administrator directed to include reply letter from Trustee Loxham to Trustee Kelger, add reply letter from Trustee Loxham to Trustee Elliott as part of the minutes for information and for the record. That was in the December 14th minutes. As those of you who were here, you recall there was quite a discussion about that, and it was decided by the board that both those letters would appear in the minutes. So apparently, according to our administrator, that is not usually done, so I'm suggesting that we add a link to the minutes with a location on the UBID website where landowners can easily access and read these two letters, because that was the intention of the motion that was already passed. As it is, just to know that the landowners have been waiting since November to read those letters, and actually the questions directed to Trustee Loxham originate from August of last year, so it's been a very long time coming. So I think that's the simplest way to achieve that motion, which is, as we did with the resignation letters of the previous 3 trustees, there's a link now on the UBID website where landowners can access those letters. So that's the second item. And the third item is the very last item under correspondence. The minutes do not reflect what actually occurred. As you recall, that was when the chair was answering some landowner questions, and I asked a question regarding the understanding of those questions, and that led to the chair declaring the meeting adjourned. So we do have an audio and video recording of that event, and I have provided the transcript of that event, which I can read. But basically, shall I read the transcript? No? So basically I'm suggesting that the transcript be included in the minutes in lieu of paragraph 1, 2, and 3. And also to provide a link where the landowners can access that transcript. So those are my 3 motions. They're basically correct. Not 3 motions, it's one motion with 3 parts to basically correct the December 14th minutes to reflect what actually occurred.
Okay, for purposes of discussion, Trustee Loxam, are you prepared to weigh in on this?
Well, personally, I think there's been way too much time spent on this. We have more important things to talk about trying to get a filtration system in place at affordable rate for the people of Union Bay. I did answer Trustee Kelcher's letter. It's not what she wanted to hear, and you know what, quite frankly, that's the end of it. Again, we have more important things to go forward here for the people of Union Bay, and let's get our water cleaned up. So.
Trustee Elliott, you're next.
Yeah, I think to avoid getting into a long, heated discussion regarding this, I think Trustee Calger is just trying to have the record of the minutes, or the record of the meeting reflect what went on either in the minutes or on the website. I don't think we're ever going to agree on content of what was said or what wasn't said. So in terms of providing an accurate record for the ratepayers, I think it should be included on the website with a link so people can make up their minds for themselves and just put all this to bed and be over and done with.
So just a point of clarity. Just to clarify, there's really the two letters that motion was actually already approved by the board, so there's no undoing that motion. It's simply how those two letters would be posted. I'm suggesting it be posted by a link. And the second is that instead of the paragraph being a summary, which is hearsay basically, of what occurred, simply to submit the transcript of what we have verification of what was said, and it's not very long. To simply submit the transcript is the fairest and most accurate way to have the minutes reflect what occurred.
Trustee Benton.
Yeah, I don't see any necessity to define this. You know, you say that this is a transcript, but there's actually verbiage in here such as Bitten indignantly says. So, I mean, that's an interpretation. So, I'm not going to approve this. The minutes are to control the, grasp the intent of a meeting, not right down to dotting an I and a T. That event that occurred is something I think we all wish never happened. So, let's just move on.
Trustee Kelcher.
Again, we have an obligation to record accurately for the landowners what did occur, whether we regret it or not. The fairest, the most equitable, the simplest way to do that is simply to state what occurred. And absolutely, if you wish to cross out indignantly, that's absolutely fine, I agree with that. However, questioning in the middle of a meeting was what you stated. So every other comment is absolutely verbatim what the recorded, and it's on a recording right here, what was stated. Whereas what exists right now is inaccurate. So I believe we have a duty to record accurately, especially on a contentious issue, what occurred, and let the landowners, who are intelligent people, decide for themselves. That's our legal obligation.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, that will end the discussion part of the motion. So now we're prepared to take a vote. So those in favor of the motion, raise your hands. Those not in favor of the motion, raise your hand. So we have a tie again. And again, as chair, I'll exercise my prerogative and vote against the motion. I believe this matter has been dealt with. And the motion will not be carried.
So my name will not appear as the trustees?
Trustee Kelger, the board would invite you to make a motion in that regard if you so choose.
Well, first of all, okay, so I will amend the motion to surely my name, I was there.
You were late.
I beg your pardon?
Go ahead. You were late at the meeting, that's why your name wasn't there.
Was I at the meeting, Trustee Lawson?
Later, yeah. You weren't there at the beginning of the meeting.
Was I at the meeting, Trustee Lawson?
Okay.
Let's move on.
I was exactly 2 minutes late, so I was at the meeting. And also, the motion to include these 2 letters and have them posted on the website or part of the minutes, that was already decided. You cannot change a motion that was already decided. So, what I hear you're doing is rejecting the 3rd of my motion, which was to submit the actual transcript. You cannot delete the first 2, adding my name and having those 2 letters posted. That was already decided.
It was your motion, though. Why would you not separate it? But anyway, that's fine.
Okay, let's move on here. We have a lot of business to get through
No,
here.
we're not moving on. I've made an amendment
Yes.
that my name be added and that the 2 letters, as already decided, be posted.
I'm sorry, but we've already defeated that motion. If you wish to have your name added to the minutes, yes,
You can't defeat,
we can entertain that.
You can't defeat a motion that already passed. The minutes of the December meeting record that it was passed to have that letter posted.
Trustee Kelger, your motion was defeated, okay?
No, it was not defeated in the December minutes. It just so happened that the letters didn't appear because the new administrator said we can't attach the letters to the meeting.
Yes, that's correct.
So how can you defeat it? It states right in the minutes that the letters were to appear, and it was passed by the majority of the board.
Trustee Kelger, you made a motion and it was not carried forward. So we'll have to move on. Next order of business is 3B, minutes